Nice.
Grilled shark in Iceland can live to 400 years old.
Oh yeah, those weird looking things that they're so slow.
It's no time. There's all the time to waste, actually.
Crocodiles don't stop aging.
Oh, what the
They just
fuck?
progressively get larger and larger until they are unable to, like, produce, like, eat enough food to sustain their, like, ever-growing bodies, and then they just die of starvation eventually.
I feel that's the same for lobsters, where they just get progressively larger until, like, they can't physically break out of their shell, and then they die. They're like, too big for this.
Well, speaking about weird sharks, should we get to this week's episode of Reflex Save?
That was last episode.
I know, but there was still a weird shark. Do you not want the segue?
Segue us forwards in time, not back in time.
I segue wherever I want. I'm the GM. We're starting though. Do you guys remember what happened last week on Reflex Save?
There was a shark.
And there was a big
That was
whip.
most of the episode.
And there was a big whip.
Angajuk.
Angajuk put it in its place at the end of that episode.
Whip.
The smackdown.
But in reality, you guys all did a pretty good smackdown on it. It was already pretty hurt by the time Angajuk decided to take a bit of a swing. And that was only because Horacio appealed to Angajuk. That's the only reason why I had Angajuk do anything.
You woke Angajuk up.
Yeah, he was just chilling. But that means, though, with the more of Sekulath retreating into the darkness, you guys are out of combat and free to move to Angajuk at your leisure.
I will immediately thank Angajuk for giving the whip. Excuse me.
You're welcome.
Oh, and thanks for your help as well, Valine. You did your best.
Well, I wasn't really expecting a stupid shark. To be fair, you win some, you lose some.
I'm going to swim onto Angajuk.
I'm going to say that everyone can get to Angajuk now, including the... You would have had to have held on to it while you wild-shaped out of it, or is it just chained to your body still, the treasure chest?
Oh, it's probably sinking. I should probably dive down and get it.
That's okay. I'm going to say, between all of you, you can go
I'll
and
help.
get that.
I'll help.
Okay, thank you.
Treasure chest.
Treasure chest.
Keep it onto the bubble in front of Ronaldo and his 3 sidekicks.
The tadpole.
Little tadpoles.
Were they here the whole time?
Yes.
The, like, little dolphins and porpoises.
No, the kobolds.
Oh,
The tadpoles.
What?
sorry. That's when they first appeared. The kobolds.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were hanging out, but they were in too much of a state of shock to try and deal with Angajuk. They were struggling against the crab. They would have probably not been able to deal with it. They were hiding in the corner, as far away from it as possible.
See that, chaps? That's how we do it in the tadpoles. We're the OGs. You got a few things to learn.
Ronaldo, when you say, that's how we do it as the OG tadpoles, you see him like swell up with a bit of pride. A small tear forms in the corner of his eye.
Still have his, like, drawn-out business card.
Oh yeah, we're gonna have the new business card.
He hand drew them all himself. With his left hand, even though he's right-handed.
And the Spectre now flies back onto the
say-
bubble as well.
Does it swim or does it just appear?
It just drifts into the bubble.
Hey, Svieta, I think you should open this chest. I mean, you did the heavy lifting, pun intended.
Okay. I hope it's not locked or trapped. I'm going to check for traps.
Okay. Roll an investigation check or perception. Investigation because you're looking for the evidence of traps.
Can I assist?
You sure can.
Thank you.
I assist.
Are we still blessed by your thing? How long does that
Oh
last?
yeah, friendship.
10 minutes.
Yeah, I'm gonna say
Nice.
you could use that if you want.
Someone else can do that because I'm not bonded.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to check for traps before I open it?
Sure, I mean, I feel empowered by your friendship angle, so...
Friendship.
Oh, it's-
thing.
Oh,
This is-
crap, maybe not.
You have
With
advantage
advantage?
because yeah.
Plus
sorry.
4. Plus a d4.
So a 2 and then a 5.
Okay, so plus
Plus
the
a
D4.
d4.
Plus a d4.
And then plus your int.
I mean,
You are smart.
I am pretty int.
He's inting.
Oh, damn it, I was going to say something.
So what was the higher number? 5.
Yeah.
11.
Are you proficient?
Intelligence. Hang on, what sort of check was it?
Investigation check.
Sorry. So let's go 5, 4, 9 plus 14.
That's
Okay.
not bad.
From
Pretty good.
5.
Yeah.
So, like both Horacio and Svieta pour over the chest, and you don't see anything that would indicate to you that it's got a trap on it. You've also already been touching it, so you don't think there's any sort of glyph of warding or anything similar, like a magic trap, where if you touch it, you explode. So that's good too.
Cool. We haven't exploded, so that's a plus.
Your investigations do lead you to believe that it is locked. However, the lock is fairly rusted. So picking it's probably not an option. However, it looks like it's pretty well rusted. Maybe you can just break it open.
Maybe we could work on it on our way to the castle.
I have a crowbar.
We could use that.
Yeah.
Can I have it?
You sure can.
Wait, Ronaldo,
Yes.
were you down here for this chest? Do you know what's in here?
Oh, I'm assuming it's some sort of ship's treasure. We're here for the haunting. The ghost that is
yes, of course.
following us.
Ah, the Queen of the whatever you said
Yes,
earlier.
of the Dark Duchess, yes. And you can see all the kobolds are like shaking in the corner and like writing things on notepads. We would never be here for simple treasure. We didn't know it was here at all.
Right. And I look across at the chest, and I can actually see through it. So please tell me what's in the chest.
What?
Why?
Because I have a thing.
Okay, you're going to need to explain.
I have a Eldritch Invocation called Ghostly Gaze,
Okay.
which, once per short rest, is an action. I gain the ability to see through solid objects to a range of 30 feet for 1 minute.
Huh.
It's so specific.
It's very specific.
Superman?
I mean, you see, within 30 feet, you see the guts of a whale. All right, looking at the chest, you can see it looks like it is packed with items and money. There's a number of items there. There is what looks to be some sort of spherical item. There's an item that's in like a sort of long cylindrical sort of a case. There looks to be some form of larger, almost backpack-looking thing. It's kind of hard to see. And you can see also some folded-up ringlets. I'm not really sure what that is. And what looks to be some sort of like long stick.
It's kind of like going through customs at the airport.
Yeah. You see his suitcase going through here.
There's definitely items in here.
We're gonna have to search this.
Also, using your magic sight, you also don't see anything that looks like a mechanism or
I was
anything
about
like
to ask
that.
that, yeah.
I'm going to say that, given the benefit of the doubt with the investigation check and with your ghostly eyes, your special eyes,
How big is the chest?
it's a fairly large chest. Like,
Can
as in,
Carnelian like jam the crowbar like into the the hinge and then just like jump on the crowbar?
I mean, I thought you gave the crowbar over to Svieta.
Yeah.
If you want to do that,
No,
absolutely, I want to see
feel like
that.
it'll be much less effective than a normal person using a crowbar.
I would like to use the crowbar
Okay. Roll me a strength saving throw.
with advantage.
Yeah.
I'm going to use different dice. 7.
The old,
I'm going to get different dice.
the old metal creaks and groans, but doesn't give.
Rusted shut.
Can you wild shape into something that's like stronger?
Stand back.
Definitely
Stand
could.
back, everyone. Stand back.
Oh no, Word's going to take a shot.
He's so strong.
With advantage.
Oh, and a +4 as well.
Oh, yeah.
Well, +d4.
Come on! Come on!
What were those rolls, Andrew?
I got a 3 and a 1 with advantage.
Okay.
But I rolled a 4 on
Okay.
my extra d4.
Okay,
so
so-
that's a 6. A 7. I rolled 7 for a total of 6 with advantage and
6.
a +4 or a d4.
So, Wodun walks, I was like, stand back, everyone. I got this. And you see him, like, and then, oh, my back! Something just twigs in your back. You're not don't take any damage, but for about 10 minutes you're going to have to rub your back where you've pulled it.
I'm just laying on the ground next to the chest now.
Alright, I think Carnelian will give it a go.
The tiny Carnelian steps up to the chest. It's like the sword and the stone.
Are you okay?
Yep.
Alright.
Okay.
You want to have a look at that?
If you don't mind.
Alright, I'll give it a rub.
Do you do Reiki?
Body?
Reiki.
19.
Is that a back thing?
Okay, so what was your original description for trying to open this
Like
chest?
jamming it into like the front like gap of the chest, and then like climbing up on the chest and just jumping on the crowbar to try and like use his full body weight to lever it.
From the top rope, Carnelian! That's a sidewalk slam!
And the chest pops open, the lid falls scattered to the side.
And the crowd goes wild!
That chest has a family.
My God!
Past tense!
It's Carnelian with a steel crowbar! My God!
I do like that. That chest has a family. Classic. Alright. Indeed, you pop open this chest and you do find some stuff inside.
Baby.
I love stuff.
Well, this
Let's get the mundane-ish stuff out of the way, right?
catch.
You can see a grand total of 300 gold pieces worth of money spilling out of the chest. You can also see, it looks to be a couple of very valuable pearls. I'm going to save you the trouble. They are worth about 100 GP each.
Nifty.
And when you say a couple,
There's two of them.
Nice.
You can see a number of small art objects and gems. Looks like there are 9 tattered pieces of indigo fabric lined with gold thread. They're worth about 25 gold pieces each.
I was wondering where all the money in Icewind Dale was. Apparently it was
You
everywhere
guys-
that we never looked.
You guys have found a bunch of money. Don't complain. You have 3 pieces of quartz worth 50 gold pieces each. A single aquamarine cracked down the center worth 250 gold pieces.
Oh.
And you can see a scrimshaw figurine of an archer etched with magical script. Anyone who happens to be casting Detect Magic, and I'd be very, very surprised if no one did,
I would like to cast Detect Magic.
Do it.
that figurine is magical. You also see a statuette of a griffin with gold inlay, worth 250 gold pieces. A black pearl, worth 500 pieces.
What was the griffin? 250.
250. A peridot carved in the shape of a leaf.
Peridot?
Yep. Worth 300 gold pieces. You see a globe of some description that is also radiating magic, and a quiver radiating magic.
Oh.
Additionally, you see a bronze bowl inlaid with carnelians, worth 1,000 gold pieces.
It's me!
It's worth more than you.
You also see 7 garnets worth 100 gold pieces each.
Oh.
And you see a suit of chainmail that looks to be very fine. In fact, it looks to be made out of a special metal.
Fuck.
And you can see what looks to be some sort of wand that's emitting green light from the skull at its tip.
Spooky.
some
That's
good
everything
loot.
there.
I tried, but I
Damn, that was
he got away from me.
How much do the garnets cost?
The garnets are 100 GP each, so there's 7 of them.
And what was the black thing?
The black pearl is 500 gold pieces.
Okay. That's a lot of stuff.
So you have at the very least 1, 2, 3, 4 magic items and a very, very nice suit of armor. That isn't magical per se, but it does seem to be made by with unusual metals that you're not quite familiar with right now, unless you investigate.
I mean, we've got time. Are we on our way to castle?
Would you like to continue the tour?
Yes,
absolutely.
time is of the essence.
Angajuk pushes off and starts to make his way out of the shipwrecks that are around you. As you're going, you hear him say,
We will be taking a break this evening at a place I know you can rest.
Oh, that sounds convenient.
That sounds necessary. wipe some blood from the corner of my mouth.
Remember, it is a 3-day journey that you're on.
That's right.
So, in the course of you guys heading to this place, I'm going to say you can look at these items and attune if you wish to, if they are in your interest. Everyone roll Arcana checks.
Okay, I'll have you know I am magically trained. Yep, this one. That's a 3 on the die, ladies and gentlemen.
Well, with a plus D4.
Yeah, I'll let you do it.
Thanks, Jen, with my pair of friendship.
The last one I'll let you use. The timing's going to go.
I got a 6.
6.
15.
15.
7.
7.
18.
18. Okay. I'm going to say between Carnelian and Wodun, you do make the checks.
Yay.
So, I misspoke slightly, but the figurine that you see that is
The archer? Statue of the archer?
Yeah. The Scrimshaw figurine of an archer. I was actually describing this as one of the things you saw, but it wasn't technically in the checks. But this functions like a scroll. It functions like a remove curse scroll. And you know that once you utilize it, this figurine will turn to dust. So it's a one-use item.
Scrimshaw's like a special kind of whalebone, right?
Sure. I don't know.
Scrimgus.
The globe type of item is a drift globe.
Ooh.
So I'm just going to show you an item in Roll20 if you want to take a look. This is what it looks like. But it is a small sphere of thick glass that weighs a pound. If you're within 60 feet of it, you can speak its command word and cause it to emanate the light spell. Or daylight. Once used, the daylight effect can't be used again till the next dawn. You can speak another command word as an action and make the illuminated globe rise to the air and float no more than 5 feet off the ground. The globe hovers in this way until you or another creature grasps it. If you move more than 60 feet from the globe, it follows you within 60 feet. It takes the shortest route to do so. If prevented from moving, it sinks gently to the ground and becomes inactive, and its light winks out.
That's awesome.
It is a cool item. Okay, next on the agenda. I'm assuming I don't need to describe what the remove curse does because you have cast it. The next is a quiver of Elona.
Oh.
Each of the quiver's 3 compartments connects to an extra-dimensional space that allows the quiver to hold numerous items while never weighing more than 2 pounds. The shortest compartment can hold up to 60 arrows, bolts, or similar objects. The mid-sized compartment holds up to 18 javelins or similar objects, and the longest compartment can hold up to 6 long objects such as bows, quarterstaffs, or spears. You can draw any item from the quiver it contains as if doing so from a regular quiver or scabbard.
Jesus.
Pretty
Well,
great.
it's nifty.
I actually have a bit of a rules question, more of like a meta thing. Previously, this thing could hold things that were the same kind of dimensions as the things described, or is this could I put a wand or a staff in there?
Yeah, good question. This does specify, and it was very specific about it, that it can be similar bolts or similar objects. Wand is similar enough to a bolt, I think. So I think that would count. Okay, now, for an interesting one here. The wand. Also, the bow, if you want to see, the quiver looks like this.
The quiver.
With like a unicorn on it?
That's pretty freaky, Bowie.
That's awesome.
You can put all your shit in it.
That's great.
Now, the wand. What you find is that this initially looked like a more fancy item than you thought. But once you began investigating it and tried to attune to it, you realize it is fake.
The skull one.
Yes.
Skull tip, McGee.
It is a Wand of Orcus replica. I don't know what that
Orcus?
wand does,
What the fuck?
but it emits a green light from the skull at its tip. Any character that tries to attune to this wand realizes it's fake, although it does continue to emit a magical light comparable to that of the Continual Flame spell. Don't know why this is in here, but it's a magic item, but more of a novelty than anything else.
I feel like it might just be in there to jerk around people who might know what the Wand of Orcus is.
I think you are, because if you look at it, did I show you that on the thing?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, it's got a very specific look to it. Looking at the original one is pretty crazy, actually.
Oh,
Has-
yeah, no, the Wand of Orcus is an artifact.
Yeah. Like you can do. I'm not going to go into it, but yeah, it's there to fake you out a bit.
One porcus.
Now, the only other thing that's probably here that needs to be addressed is the suit of armor. This is a chainmail suit of mithril armor.
Whoa.
It is light and flexible. A mithril chain shirt or breastplate can be worn under normal clothes. If the armor normally imposes disadvantage on dexterity stealth checks or has a strength requirement, the mithril version doesn't have either.
That's awesome.
Can I wear that?
It is a chain mail, not so it is heavy armor technically, isn't it?
But doesn't the mithril make it like...
Doesn't?
One
Mithril is a light
less.
flexible metal, worn under the clothes. The armor normally imposes disadvantage on dexterity stealth strength requirement. Mithril version doesn't. It doesn't say.
Oh, that's disappointing.
I thought it was one less category, Bowie.
Or maybe we're thinking of the
That's-
mithril chain shirt, not like mithril chain mail.
I mean, it definitely in old editions of D&D that is exactly what it did. But let me just take a look.
Because I could use an armor upgrade.
It's still classified as heavy armor under the mithril chain. Footy.
Can any of us even wear heavy armor? I don't think we can.
No, hang on. Yeah, you're right. I think Jim's
I
right.
think clerics can, can't they?
Certain
kind-
clerics can.
Certain
Twilight and
certain
Wodun.
clerics like me.
Life clerics, war
Tempest.
clerics, Tempest clerics. There's quite a few, but
Yeah.
not all of them. Yeah, I mean, I guess this is a little bit annoying that
Is there a mithril chain shirt?
it says chain mail. But you know what? That's less fun because no one here is going to be able to wear heavy armor, right?
No.
There is a mithril chain shirt that does
There is,
exist.
yeah. So what I might do, it's not in the book, but we're going to do it for funsies. I'm going to say this is a mithril chain shirt rather than a chain mail.
Woo!
So that would make it a 13 plus dex modifier, maximum 2. Oh no, hang on, that doesn't make a lot of sense. I'm going to say scale mail. Otherwise it's kind of useless.
No, 13 plus dex to a maximum of 2 would still make it an upgrade
Yeah,
for me.
but chain shirts don't have a stealth disadvantage anyway, so it makes the mithril component largely useless. So, to keep this in line with being more useful, I'm going to call it scale mail. 14 plus dexterity modifier, maximum of 2. Normally would have a stealth disadvantage, but this one won't.
Nice.
Does anybody mind if I take that then?
You can have it.
Yeah, go for it.
Hell yeah.
Go for it. It looked good on you.
Okay. Mithril chain. Now, it's not technically magic armor, which means it doesn't technically resize to you, but I'm going to waive that because that sounds silly.
That's
I
why
will-
the kobolds wanted it, because it had
Yeah.
their fancy
Oh,
shit.
yeah, it's specifically a small. Only Carnelian could have
Well,
it.
no, the halfling was here looking for it because it's also halfling sized.
Child size.
He looks disappointed.
Oh,
The
no,
legendary
it's-
child's chain shirt from the Dark Duchess.
It's literally like
Right.
it's literally the chain vest from the Hobbit.
I mean, yes, that is
Because
exactly what it
it's
is.
sized for a child.
Oh man. Okay, so you've got quite a little haul there, which is
I
quite
reckon.
good.
Yeah.
A couple of magic items for you to divvy up. I mean, do you guys want to say who gets what? I mean, obviously the chain shirt's been worn over by Carnelian. What about the drift globe and the figurine and the bow and the wand?
I feel like either the globe or the wand should probably go to our cleric who can't see in the dark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll take the globe if you don't mind. I always like to keep casting the sun.
I mean, this can cast the sun once a day.
I know.
True.
When it casts, it doesn't have a duration on it. It's just as long as you don't
It
deactivate
functions
it.
as the daylight spell, so I think you can
Ah,
cast
okay.
daylight from it once a day.
Okay, so it has the normal duration that daylight has. Cool.
I mean, the other one has basically a continual green flame cast on it.
So it's basically a torch.
It's basically a little torch, yeah, but it's less dramatic than I think. Like continual flame, the brightness is equivalent to a torch. So the globe's going to give you better brightness anyway. I think. What about the bow? The quiver.
The quiver.
Now, it is worth noting that it doesn't have to just be weapons and ammunition that's stored there. Anything that is of those dimensions can be stored in those compartments. It functions like a mini bag of holding in a way.
Maybe Wodun? You've got javelins and spears and shit, don't you?
Yeah.
No, my spear is F.
Oh, you
It's
just
your ranged
summon it.
weapon.
You can just summon it at will.
Yeah.
Svieta, Carnelian, do you guys have some range stuff.
Maybe not.
I could put I could put crossbow bolts in it, but I don't really have like a spear or a bow or like a staff to stick in. I mean, I could probably put wands in it.
You could sell it.
Yeah, I think we'll just sell it.
If we can find a buyer in Icewind Dale.
We can take it to Bellathor, the general goods store.
You can take it to Skeen. And what about the Scrimshaw figurine, the Remove Curse? It's basically a scroll.
I reckon one of you guys, because I can cast it if I need to. So in a pinch, maybe you guys could use it if I'm cursed or something. Maybe.
We could just
only
He's
because
a known curse recipient.
well, if there's a curse that ever happens, I might be wild shaped, so I might not be able to use it. So it might be better on you.
Well, I was going to say, you're like the healer, so for flavour, I guess, you would be the one doing the healing, and it would just mean that you wouldn't have to use a spell slot.
It's also worth noting that a spell scroll, if the spell's on the spell list and it's higher level than you can normally cast, you must make an ability check using a spellcasting ability modifier. If it's not on your spell list... spell scrolls must be on your spell list to use them.
Right, so maybe I'll hang on to it, because then I can definitely cast it.
It just doesn't need components, but I think you still need to do the verbal component or reading it, maybe.
Okay.
Makes sense.
You normally do have to read a spell scroll to activate it.
I will take it.
Okay. So the drift globe and the Scrimshaw figurine.
Yes.
No one's really going to take the quiver.
No.
What about the magic wand of continual flame? The torch.
No, I'm good.
Okay.
It sounds heroic, I'll take it.
Sweet.
Looks cool.
Okay. So, in that particular case, you're swimming through the ocean. Well, Angajuk is taking you through the ocean, leaving the ship, the naval battle shipwrecks behind. Those giant hulks slide off into the inky darkness below you. And Angajuk makes his way, he surfaces every so often, and you can see as you begin to move further and further out, you can see you've now hit the point where the sea is not frozen over like it was close to the shore. He's surfacing in areas where there's spaces between ice flows or icebergs. So out here, it's still quite packed with ice, but already it's starting to give way to open ocean. Additionally, you can also see as you surface more and more, the sun in its perpetual dawn goes to perpetual dusk and is starting to fall below the horizon, as Angajuk still gives you some tour of some of the more dramatic and beautiful icebergs in the area. Eventually, though, as the light starts to fade, Angajuk takes you and surfaces once more, and you find yourself just off of a small island made out of mostly rocks, but seems to contain an old lighthouse on it that towers into the distance. It doesn't appear to be very well maintained. There isn't anyone on there, but it seems strong and serviceable, at least for now. And the ice flows seem to break around the rocks. It seems to be at least well constructed. That doesn't look like it's falling apart.
I might light up the globe. Let's give this thing a go, and I will illuminate it with us.
Okay. You cast essentially the light spell from it.
I'll say the keyword.
Holding it aloft, the light does reflect and bounce off the white stone that is constructed of this monolithic tower that seems to stretch out into the sky. From behind you, as you step off, you hear Angajuk,
I will return in the morning. Sleep well.
And he sinks below the waves.
Thanks, Angajuk.
Jeez, I really hope he does return.
Yeah, me too.
Yes. Well, shall we venture into the lighthouse?
It's better than staying outside in the cold.
Yeah.
The cold, and as Carnelian mentions that, the wind does seem to rise. Out here off the coast, the wind is more wild and untamed and seems to seep through all of your cold weather gear and sink into your bones. Maybe it is a good idea to get inside.
Any signs of movement or any other light sources?
Perception check.
Okay.
I will assist.
Oh, I'm gonna see. You want to have a crack yourself?
I'll have a crack. 23.
Whoa.
2.
Oh.
Both Svieta and Horacio, in the light of the globe, do take a look, and it seems that there is nothing really for you to see. You don't see movement of any kind that you're not expecting with the wind whipping through. You can see a couple of loose ropes that seems to have been connected from the upper part of the lighthouse, maybe draped over the back wall and flapping in the wind. What maybe looks like it was the remains of some sort of flagpole at the very, very top that's long ago lost its flag. Otherwise, it doesn't appear that you can see any other movement.
What about, is there... what's the word? Is it flotsam when it's already made land? Or jetsam?
It is something.
Wood. Any, like, ship wood or other wood that's made landfall and is dried sufficiently we can build a fire out of it?
I'll roll over those perception checks. There is a little bit of wood that seems to have been caught in the rocks that you could collect, yeah.
Okay. Go about doing that.
What about Carnelian and Wodun?
Excuse me, Mr. Spectre. Could you please go and scout out the lighthouse for us and let us know if there's anyone in there?
What does he respond with?
No worries.
The Spectre disappears into the lighthouse. You can communicate with it, like it can understand you can understand it? Or?
It understands languages it knew in life, but it cannot speak back.
Okay, cool. So it disappears into the lighthouse, and after 15, 20 minutes, it just slides out of the door again, and it walks up to you and just goes,
"No workers, mate." Thumbs up if there's people in there. Or anything in there.
It has a thumbs down.
Alright. I think we're good.
Just go have a look.
When are you getting rid of that thing?
Look, I would tell you if I knew. This is my first Spectre.
Okay, sorry.
Everyone's first is very special.
Hopefully the last.
When I walk past you, Wodun, with my, like, I've got like a couple of armfuls of driftwood. I'm going to just call out. I got to be honest with you, Wodun, I really don't like that Spectre.
Wow, Horacio. He can understand the languages he knew in life, you know.
Well, I couldn't care less. I'm not a fan of it, but I respect you, so I'm not doing anything about it.
Look, I know
I'll
you're
just keep
excited.
walking.
I know you're excited, but maybe carting around the cursed spirit of the damned person that you killed isn't like a good idea.
And just over that. How do I say it? Like, because I've already kept walking, and you've said that, and I'm like about to go inside the building and just sort of like shout out behind myself, "It's an abomination, and Callan would never have it." And then I just sort of walk inside the building.
Well, what I'll say is that you walk up to the door and shout that over your shoulder. The door is closed.
It's an abomination, and Callan wouldn't have it. Ooh! And walk into the door.
like the bundle of wood just kind of like jumps up a little bit.
I would say you know there's a door there. You shout that over your shoulder as you investigate the door.
Yes.
To make you look not silly.
Okay. As I'm investigating the door... Sick grind. 13.
13... Investigation check?
Investigation.
Okay, sorry, I didn't know what you were after. You take a quick look over the door as you approach it. It seems to be a regular, heavy, iron-banded wooden door.
A classic. I'm going to attempt to open it. Put the wood down and attempt to open it.
So you put your wood down. It's still a little bit huffed after what you called back to Wodun. To Wodun.
Yeah, a bit huffed.
Didn't we bring some firewood with us?
We got some.
It's wet.
I prefer locally sourced material.
And you go to open the door. It isn't locked. It just has a very simple sort of latch lever system. And it does give you a little bit of trouble initially, like the wood's a little bit soaked and maybe expanded from what it normally is. But otherwise it's in quite good condition, surprisingly, especially if this is not a maintained site. And eventually it does pop open.
The drift globe is with me as well, by the way.
I would think so, yeah. If you push the drift globe forward, you can see that it opens up into a main sort of common area down the bottom. It's very sparse, but you can see a spiral staircase stretching up into the darkness above.
I see. Looks clear. I think the abomination was correct.
I can, like, unwet your wood, don't worry.
Excuse me?
I mean,
Okay.
usually got to take someone out to dinner first before you do that.
I mean, I've known you for about 3 weeks, but still. I'm just kidding. You can warm up the wood. It is a little moist.
You do have to soak your logs first.
I'm having a lot of difficulty igniting them. Dry the wood.
Down the bottom here, you can see the remains of probably what used to be a storage area. There probably is some fragments of broken boxes or barrels, but they're long ago rendered useless. You could probably collect some other scarce bits for firewood too.
Oh, yeah, okay.
But generally, it's pretty empty down here. Looks like whoever was here has long ago left it and took most of the items of value as well.
I mean, living on an island in the sea of moving ice, presumably with few people or maybe even by yourself, it doesn't sound ideal.
Pretty shitty existence.
Are there any, like, holes in the wall or anything that we have to worry about the elements getting in?
At this ground level, you don't see anything like that. Where would you like to go?
Up. Investigate the rest of the lighthouse.
Alright, so you start moving upwards, and eventually what ends up happening is the stairs disappear into what effectively is a floor, like a roof to you and a floor, and spirals up. You can see as you pass there are a couple of different rooms, like on doors that lead sort of inside, so there must be compartments stretching underneath the stairs around the lighthouse. And eventually, if you go all the way up to the top, you find this area that's completely open and what is obviously used to produce the light for a lighthouse. This kind of old, rusted, although not as rusted as you'd expect, mechanism that obviously spins in place and contains what would normally be a cauldron of fired oil or something similar to that. And you can see the shards of glass that sit around it, obviously some form of mirror, used to direct the light when this place was in operation. If you do an investigation of all the other rooms really quickly, you can see what looks to be a couple of rooms that could have been used again for additional storage, a common room that would have been used as well, and a couple of sort of bedrooms. There's probably only 2 of which are bedrooms, very, very small. What looks to be broken cots are in there. Looks like it's very, economized space more than anything else. The biggest area that you have, apart from the very bottom floor, is that top floor where the cauldron is, the empty cauldron. And you can see there is a table, sort of a big heavy table set up there that no one's bothered to move, with a few chairs around. As you're going up, in all of the rooms that you can see, there are windows that have been smashed in. Obviously, over time, this place is, unfortunately, the neglect has gotten to it, and so those rooms are very, very cold. There's also snow blowing in every so often, which makes them kind of a bit hard to recommend. Otherwise, at the very top, there's this kind of glass structure that is 360 around the opening, so you can see in all directions out from beside you, and it looks like it's all intact.
Once we are all inside, Wodun's going to kind of hang near the door, and once Svieta walks in, he's going to check with her. Svieta, you don't have a problem with Spencer, do you? I've just named him. His name's Spencer.
I'm a bit confused why he is there, but I'm not as unsettled as Horacio. I still don't like him, though.
I don't know why he's here either, to be honest, but
He feels wrong.
he's very handy. He's got some good skills.
Sure, maybe just keep him away from the rest of us for a little bit.
Alright, he can sleep downstairs.
Please. But it's a very interesting skill you have. I'm impressed by that.
Thank you, Svieta. Thanks for saying. I was a bit down after Horacio's comment, but you've really perked me back up.
I wouldn't... okay, sorry. You're up here, very top. You need to come down a little bit with the skill. It's fine, but don't puff your chest out too much about it.
Okay, so we tolerate him, but we don't love him.
Definitely don't love him.
You hear that, Spencer? You're down here tonight, you bastard.
Why did you name him?
I don't know. He's been a valuable member the last 6 hours he's been here. I've grown attached.
Fucking piss weak.
Shut up, Spencer.
Well, then you're amazing in other ways, but this is wrong.
Yeah, it does feel a bit strange.
Yeah. Svieta will continue onwards, not knowing how to end this conversation, and go upstairs, pointedly ignoring Spencer.
Where did I make my fire? Like, did I?
Well,
it's down the bottom.
You could either have it down the bottom, but there's not a lot of ventilation down here. It can be quite dangerous. I'm going to say, probably what makes the most amount of sense is the very top, in that cauldron that's supposed to contain a fire in the first place. There is sort of a ventilation system at the top that does allow for smoke to rise out while not letting the weather in.
Alright, so retrospectively I'll know that and figure that out and
Yeah.
I'll build it up there. And so at this point I'm already up there building that fire.
Yeah, so it's like in this sort of low cauldron. Like think of almost like a basin dish type of thing.
Brazier.
Like a brazier, yes, like a brazier. But it's very big, and you can obviously see there's a mechanism down the bottom that, when it's sort of wound up like clockwork, this whole thing would normally swing around it, and if there's a mirror attached to it, that's how it would do its lighting. But that's all unfortunately broken right now. But the brazier is functional.
Okay, just quickly, based on the state of those glass shards, would I infer that the lighthouse itself would still function pretty well in terms of being a beacon?
Do an investigation check.
Okay. 15.
15. You take a look around and you're really interested in the mechanism that functions around this lighthouse. And you've been thinking about everything you've encountered since you come in. The door was a little bit stuck, but actually functional. And it wasn't too rusted out. Like, if this was an ancient place that had been abandoned for centuries, you would expect all the metal to be rusted through and probably the door to have deteriorated to nothing. You think that with your check, this lighthouse has probably only been abandoned in the last 2 to 3 years, maybe? Which would almost line up to when the winter started in Icewind Dale, like the lasting winter. And you know that right now, where you are, it would be quite difficult for ships to navigate anyway, because the ice flows and icebergs would probably make it untenuous to navigate. So a good inference would be that maybe this area used to function when there was less ice in the summers. The mechanism, whilst there is a bit of rust and sort of sea wear on it, appears to be mostly functional, and someone with a bit of know-how in clockwork engineering would be able to make it work again. Not with no effort, it would take a bit of elbow grease and a bit of cleaning, but it could be functional. The big glass mirror, if you got the same glass mirror, you could make one and put it in its place. You would suspect maybe that it's kind of one of those things that it's a little bit too heavy to you could remove it, but it would be such a heavy thing that if you were just leaving this place, maybe you would leave it, and over time it's probably shattered due to something that's happened to it. Same with the windows around the upper floors.
Okay, one more question. How far away are we? Are we still, so after tonight we're still 2 days travel away?
Yes.
So there's no way that this light could be visible from where we're going.
Not that, well, you don't really know that unless you can make a survival check.
Okay.
It's very difficult to know the directions you are taking underwater.
Yeah.
But roll a survival check.
15 again.
15. Look, you have no real way of tracking underwater in the darkness where you're going. Without knowing exactly your coordinates every time that Angajuk took you to places, and you're not familiar enough to know. The light from this lighthouse could stretch out a long way. I mean, that's what it's designed to do, but, depending on the weather, it might be blocked sufficiently. You would think that maybe this lighthouse could be seen from land if it was... it's obviously designed to warn ships away from this area of probably shallow water, and therefore dangerous. And given where it is, it probably could be seen by land, but maybe very distantly. However, without the mirror's reflectiveness to concentrate the light, the range would be limited.
Okay, so a lot of those reflectors are actually damaged.
Yeah, so the big reflector that would normally swing around and sort of do that whole lighthouse thing, that has been broken and therefore is not usable.
So we should be good. Alright, I'll just leave it all that and go back to the fire. Just look at it.
So coming up the stairs, you can see Valine. Looks like she's got a couple of items in tow, and she's like, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to take one of the rooms downstairs. I might have to block off one of the windows, but it would be good for me to read up on our journey ahead. Is that okay? And she sort of addresses all of you.
I don't see an issue with that.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's fine.
Although I am curious, as when you say reading up on our destination, do you have some kind of material?
Well, it's more general about Nethril and Yithrin, and also I'm doing a little bit of magical research on some of the items that we may be able to find. I find it prudent to take small research books with me wherever I go.
I see. Well, when you've finished, might I borrow one of those books? I wouldn't mind having a read myself.
Oh, you're asking for my private collection?
I am.
I'm sure I could probably lend you one for some night reading. I'll come up before you go to sleep.
Thanks. Thank you.
And she retires to one of those rooms. Additionally, you've also got Ronaldo and the 3 tadpole kobolds.
Stooges.
And they're sort of, you see them all talking to one another, and they sort of look like they're in a bit of hushed tones.
You were in a bit of a predicament there, aren't you, gentlemen?
What? Oh, yes! Sorry, I'm just conferring with my colleagues about how we get back to shore.
I feel like this is a round trip, but it only goes in one direction.
I wonder if there is some way we had to leave our vessel behind, unfortunately. It's an expensive one, too.
A little better than being dead.
True. We have some of our equipment, and kobolds are notoriously ingenious of scrabbling together stuff. Maybe we could make something, some sort of boat that would get us ashore. We have a bunch of waterproof canvas. We're just talking it out.
Sure, I mean,
So-
if we can assist, absolutely.
Sailing back through the sea of moving ice from here?
Would be our best option. I don't see a lot of food around here, and I don't know how often things come by here, you know? It's a wonderful place. Maybe some sort of haunted lighthouse, but it just seems a bit, I don't know, mundane compared to normal things. I'd like to get on to my next lead, if it were.
Are you sure you don't want to just stick it out with us for 5 days?
Where exactly are you going?
The name of the island is one right out the other ear.
Mithril.
Mithril.
Oh,
Mithril? No?
that's where you're going eventually. This island is just like the island
No,
of mist.
the destination island.
Yeah, the Misty Island. There is another important piece of information about it. Is it,
The home of...
We're going to kill Oriel.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Here.
Oh, hey guys. Welcome up here.
Oh, hey, sorry,
Hello.
it's
We
warmer
just
up
came
here.
up.
Oh, that sounds exceedingly dangerous. Wow.
I mean, you can stay on the whale while we figure out what we're doing next.
What if I contacted like a dolphin or something and asked it to steal back to land?
You would do that?
If there's one around in the neighborhood.
Well, that might sort out our propulsion issue. I think with some of the items that we can have on hand, yes, and some of the scrap wood, we could make a makeshift hull. We just didn't have a way to propel it, but a willing dolphin or narwhal could do it.
I will say dolphins make fantastic propellers.
Yes, I've always heard one dolphin is worth 2 propellers.
I hadn't heard that. That's interesting. Yeah, I can go down and see what's awake underwater.
Oh, if you would, that would really help us out. We could spend the night trying to construct... If you let us take the bottom of this lighthouse, we could spend the night trying to construct something.
Well, you should probably ask Veline about that.
The bottom. She's in a room somewhere up here. We'll take the bottom floor if no one's taking it.
Are anyone taking it?
No.
I want to stay with the group.
Okay.
Which sounds like... Look, if they don't want to sit next to the fire, that's their loss.
Well,
Hey, you know what I hear? You guys have to be on watch for their first night.
I don't think we'll be getting much sleep either way. We're going to have to spend all of the night constructing. So, I mean, we'll keep watch downstairs if you wish.
Well, that works out well. I was just razzing you, but you really took the wind out of my sails there.
Look, it's fair's fair. I understand. You big adventurers, I mean, we're new to the group. You're all tadpoles in my eyes, you know. But no, I think we have a plan then. We were talking about the equipment we've got on hand. Yeah, I think we should be good. Thank you, Svieta.
That's okay. I'm going to go have a chat underwater now.
Oh, yes, okay. Should be ready by morning.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm going to head downstairs.
Excellent. Alright, so let's stick with Svieta. So you head downstairs and you head out of the lighthouse.
Yes. And because I'm cold already and acclimatized to the cold, I'm just going to jump right into the ocean.
I'm actually going to say you need a constitution save.
No, that's okay. Nope. Not those dice.
Were those dice cursed?
They've been rolling like Wodun.
Fair.
Why did you was too late?
16.
The shock of the cold water envelops you, but you're able to keep your... You know when you hit super cold water, like it almost drives the breath out of you?
Yep.
That sort of happens initially, but you're expecting it, and you're able to like take a couple deep breaths to make sure that you still have enough air, and you dip your head underwater. You don't take any damage.
That's okay. I didn't need to do the gasping anyway because I've still got water breathing.
How long does that last?
24 hours, baby!
Alright, well, either way, it still sucks.
Yes, it does. So, I'll head underwater. I can't see anything, but I will ritually cast Speak with Animals.
Okay. So you're there, floating in the water, dark sea moving all around you, and you're still fairly close to the rocks, I'm going to say, so you have some bearing where you are.
Kind of grasping it with my arm, but I'm underwater, so I've got something to like anchor me.
Yeah. But the sea is making it difficult to stay there. Make a concentration check for me.
Concentration.
Yeah, the sea's sort of buffeting you and moving you around.
Like it's your fault.
It is my dice.
Thanks.
Sorry.
What was it?
What is a concentration?
Constitution.
Oh, 7.
7.
Is it a saving throw? Or?
It's not a saving throw, it's just a check.
Still 7.
Initially, the buffeting of the water does throw you off. So the first 10 minutes is kind of wasted as you attempt to cast a spell. However, you only feel the movement of the sea around you. You want to try again?
Yes.
Concentration check.
Like a seal?
17.
17. You keep concentration of your spell and you're able for the 10 minutes to cast your Speak with Animals. And just as you open your eyes from the end of your spell, you do feel like out there in the darkness there is some movement.
I'm gonna shout underwater the common tongue of seafood.
I see.
Hello!
The sound echoes from your mouth as if from some sort of large whale.
I'm going for baleen.
And moving in the distance, you think the shape you caught a glance of earlier seems to move closer and
Is
closer.
it tail going side to side or up and down?
You don't know.
I know.
As it gets closer and closer,
It's a fucking sunfish, isn't it?
a long spike juts out of the darkness towards you and stops right before your body. There's a giant narwhal.
Oh my god!
Well, not a giant one, like a...
Giant.
He's a big creature, but he's not too big. As a narwhal comes up to you. Hello?
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 Are you Swedish?
I am Noah.
Can you help me?
Oh, you're one of the passengers on Angajuk, aren't you?
Yes.
I've heard of you. You seem nice.
I am.
Ah, What do you need?
I need you to help me.
I haven't been needed before. These little fins come up. It's like,
I need you to help me.
I'm sorry, you're breaking up there. Could you say that again?
I need you
You need me?
to transport kobolds
Oh,
and the halfling.
I'm sorry, I don't have a bubble boat like Angajuk.
Don't worry about it.
I'm a little bit worried about it.
Can I roll a persuasion check? Oh, no, actually, can I just have it?
Persuasion check.
No.
Persuasion check.
They're going to build a raft.
A raft, you say?
I'm going to have a stroke.
Why do you sound like that? I've had a stroke.
You just need to push it.
Push it?
Yes.
Or pull it?
Either one. Probably push.
Or maybe they could attach a rope to my long tooth.
Yes, a very long one.
Long rope.
In the morning.
Oh, the morning.
Yes.
I think I could fit that in with my busy schedule.
Thank you. Be here at sunrise.
Oh, sunrise. I'll surely be here.
You haven't had one of those in a while.
Perpetual sunrise.
Damn it. I thought I had more time.
What's your name?
My name is Sven.
Oh my god!
Sven the narwhal.
Sven the narwhal.
See you in the morning.
Oh, I'll see you in the morning.
I'm gonna give him like his tooth a stroke, and I'm gonna leave.
Nobody's touched my tooth in a long time. Thank you, Svieta.
Bye, Svens.
Oh, I'm going now.
I think that was the nicest animal you've ever spoken to.
No! I didn't want to say anything.
It's not a bird.
I mean, the goats were kind of jerks as well.
No, the goats were terrified because you kept killing things in front of them. And killed their master, and then killed one of them for butcher training.
We killed them because they were rude.
Yeah,
Those goats
Were
were
delicious.
Those goats were terrified.
you weren't there, man.
I was! I was the goat!
I would like to get out of the freezing cold water and go
climb-
back inside.
You climb back inside and head for the fire upstairs. While that happens, so just a bit of housekeeping, you head upstairs and just pass by that lower floor, and you can see already the kobolds and Ronaldo seem to be working on something. They've got some torches out, and they seem to be working on some structure or framework, and there's canvas everywhere, and there's rope. It all looks very interesting and technical.
Maybe you should make that outside so you can get it through the door, or avoid the door altogether.
Oh, we're going to make it in half, and then we'll push it through and then finish it down there.
Oh, well, carry on, man. Don't worry about me.
Look, it's a good suggestion, but I think we got this handled. It's okay, it's okay.
I'm gonna
Guys!
shake my tail at them, and then so it flicks water all over their faces.
And as you walk upstairs, you hear another goes, guys, make it in half. Make it in half so we can get through the door.
What's my passive? 19 passive
You heard
perception.
that, you heard that for sure. So let's just say, while you start heading up, in that 20-odd minutes, is there anything you guys wanted to do in particular?
I don't think so.
No, I'm just going to stare at the fire and think about Callan lore, I suppose.
A lonely island with a big fire, basically at the end of the world. You know what this calls for? Music!
Carnelian, please, that would definitely lighten the mood.
Yeah.
Gonna play that viol.
So
Yes, it is gonna change every
I know.
episode.
I've been trying to track what it is. So what type of music is it?
It is going to be, like, cheery and upbeat. Not, like, fast-paced, but, like...
Kind of like a
happy
sailor's
shanty?
shanty.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these strings of sailors' tunes float down to Svieta as she ascends the stairs, and eventually she opens the door into this giant warm brazier where everyone's sitting around, and Carnelian is performing a small little concert for all of you in a way. But you're dripping wet as you arrive.
As soon as I arrive, I immediately leave and tell the kobolds to expect a narwhal in the morning.
Let's say you did that before you got upstairs.
And then I go back upstairs.
Okay. Oh, guys, narwhal. Tomorrow morning, be ready.
Oh yeah, the whole reason I went down there.
Narwhal, got it. Narwhal. Guys, what's a narwhal?
And then I come back up.
Okay. But
It's so cozy.
for the dramatic arrival, you're dripping wet and you arrive to this scene.
Prestidigitation.
Oh, God!
He's a quick shot.
Thank you.
The music suddenly stops as the water gets wicked away
mean-
from your fur.
Playing an instrument can be the somatic components of a bard spell, so I technically don't have to stop.
I just like the idea of you just the music suddenly stopping as you cast a spell and just go straight back to it. But yeah.
Oh, it feels so nice up here. Oh, is everyone else like sitting around the campfire? Oh, it's not a campfire.
The
It's...
bonfire.
There is a table there with a few different seats that is just off the side of where the brazier is.
Oh, it's up there.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I probably would have been sitting at the table, actually.
Yeah, makes sense.
Carnelian standing on the table to play.
Well, yeah, probably. Easier than sitting. It'd either be standing on the table or standing on a chair.
Makes sense.
Alright, I'll sit down near everyone else at the table. And is Spencer around, or is he?
No, he's downstairs.
Okay.
He's just patrolling the lower floor of the
As
thing.
you walked into the lighthouse, he was just around the bottom, just slowly walking.
He's just going like in and out between walls, like inside, outside, outside, back inside. He's just kind of like doing rounds.
Just every so often when you're talking to the kobold, his face just phases through the wall, looks at you, and then phases back out.
Yeah.
I imagine Otto and Dogcliff and Chucky
Chucky.
are like all huddled around the fire.
Yeah.
I like look at them, and then I'll look over at Horacio and like see Spencer phase in and phase out. I'll look over at Horacio and it's like, so Horacio, I have a question for you.
Sorry? Oh, what? Yeah. I
Not
was
to
thinking.
interrupt you
I was thinking about things. Sorry. Yes,
about
of course.
the journey ahead, or
Oh, just things. What's your question?
it's so. Wodun has a surprise summon as well.
The surprise summon.
Well, Spencer the ghost.
Spencer, is it?
Yes. Sorry, the name's stuck. I don't know what it is. Anyway, he summoned that out of nowhere, and I wanted to ask you. You have an orc that comes out of nowhere, or specifically your pocket. And I wanted to ask you where you got that from.
Ah, yes.
Wait, excuse me, you're gonna have to elaborate on this.
Music stops.
Right. So he chopped the rock out at that horrible Duragad Zadrok. And an orc came out. He was there. He named him Porcus. I have no idea if that's his actual name. He sounded like an orc name.
Well, Porcus is his real name.
You sure?
Yes.
It's a bizarre name.
Well, he named it himself, so I maybe it wasn't his real name. It's the name that he referred to himself as. What you saw was a spirit of Porcus.
You just keep him in your pocket.
You see, I saved his life. So, when I was on the road to Baldur's Gate from Dulusk, I came across an orc, a dying orc, and I managed to administer some on-the-spot care, sufficient that it's fair to say that his life was saved. And as a token of gratitude, he had this strange stone that he gave me, and he said it has 3 charges. And if in my hour of need, if I ever acquire it, to throw the stone, and a spirit of Porcus would emerge and assist. And I thought he was mad, but I took the rock. And when we were fighting Zardarok, I thought, well, I don't think it's going to get any more desperate than this. So I threw the rock, and Porcus came out.
So it's not like it's not like his ghost.
It's not his ghost.
Also, he's
as
still
it were.
alive.
So I suppose it's like a magical apparition, a magical representation of himself, somehow trapped within the stone.
Oh, so you're not like throwing it and summoning him, like if he was on the toilet, like it wouldn't be him.
Oh no!
Like it would just be the spirit of him.
Not again!
Sorry, that is such a Jen question. Like, perfectly. So if he was on the toilet.
That's hilarious, though.
That was like a start of
you're not
summoning.
summoning it.
So it's not that.
No, it's like a magical version of himself. I'm not exactly sure how he did it. But I've never used it before then. Like I said, I thought he was a little bit batty, but he insisted that I take it as a token of his gratitude. And it turns out that it did do something, and that the Porcus, what would you call it? The Porcus apparition.
The avatar of Porcus.
The avatar of Porcus.
Ooh.
Only has 2 charges remaining, if what he said can be believed.
Is this a common orcish like
Tradition?
practice? Just give magic rocks to people who save your life?
I mean, I don't know. I haven't really had many dealings with orcs. So who knows? Who knows what else they're capable of?
Well, how long does he stick around for? Like, he kind of just appeared and then disappeared when you...
I'm going to have to add this to my song.
I believe, I don't know, but I think he didn't last very long. How long did he last time? I think, it was only about 5 minutes or something. It was less
Pretty
than
quick,
that.
yeah.
I'm literally looking up this thing.
Magic orc rock.
It's not long.
It's literally called Orc Stone, so...
Darn! Alright, it's just... You understand that, like, an orc from your pocket called Porcus does sound a little, like...
Sexual.
I was going to say made up.
Oh.
Like you made it up.
Yes, I understand that.
What? Sorry.
But that was his name, yes.
What if someone stole that rock from you? Could they summon the Porcus? Or is it only you that it, like, imprinted on your hand?
That's an excellent question. He gave no means to activate it. I simply threw it out. I think, as you recall, I threw it at Zardarok.
It was a good aim.
So, thanks. I used to play cricket a lot.
I'm not familiar.
Just thought I'd mention that. But he never gave any instructions with how to activate it. So I'm not sure if it's tied to me somehow or if anyone else just randomly threw it. But I don't want to find out. I mean, if I needed to, I'd give it to one of you, of course, if it was needed. But, yes.
Well, he sounds like he'll be handy when we go after Oriel.
Absolutely, and thank you for reminding me that I have it.
You're welcome. It's been on my mind since the castle.
Wow.
I mean, I feel like that fight with Zardarok was probably the perfect time to pull a orc out of your pocket if you only have 3 in your life.
Indeed. 3 Porcuses, and I think it was a worthy first spending.
It's not an easy thing to forget someone just summoning an orc, so I've been thinking about it. I just keep forgetting to ask you.
Yes. Well, thank you for reminding me. I forgot that I had it at all, to be honest. I'm not even sure why I remembered in that moment. Maybe Porcus was with me, calling me.
I believe that.
I'd love to meet Porcus again one day.
Did he tell you where his tribe was?
No, it was a very strange encounter. Not much was said. He was already very injured when I came across him. He was on the verge of death. So I don't remember much of that exchange. He just gave me the stone and told me to throw it in my hour of need.
Maybe if we don't need him for anything else, you could summon him and be like, hey, where do you live? And he can tell you.
Answer these questions 3, Porcus.
Like a genie.
Maybe.
Just a thought.
Well, if we get to the end of whatever this is, then maybe I've got a charge or even 2 charges left. I'll throw him out and maybe he can respond. I'm not sure if it is him. I feel like it might just be a magical apparition that happens to take on his appearance, but it's worth a shot.
Well, that's fair. Maybe just forget about it and then you'll definitely have 2 charges.
Absolutely, I'm very good at that.
My curiosity has been satiated. Thank you.
Do you want to have a look at it?
Yes.
Want to see my Porcus?
Hey.
So that we're very clear, you can keep your porpoise up for about 10 minutes or until it gets reduced to 0.
Thank you. Yeah, just like real life, I knew it.
I don't know, some porpoises can go longer.
Good for 10 minutes, and then after 3 times, can't do it again.
Talk to your cleric.
Talk to your cleric if issues persist.
Talk to your,
Lasts longer than 10 minutes.
talk to your shaman. He'll be very impressed.
It's just a nondescript stone. Yeah, really nothing special.
Oh, it doesn't look like anything like a... Wow.
That's why I thought he was having me on. I thought he just found it on the ground. I thought he'd lost a lot of blood.
There
Delirious.
is a symbol carved on the stone, though.
He's never... You've only looked at one side of it. You're like,
Every time he picks it out of his pocket, all of 2 times.
Yeah, so I'll hand it to Sven. I'm like, see, what is it? It's just a boring old
I'll
rock.
hold it like this, so the plain side is facing me, and the symbol is facing you.
Wait, what's that?
It does have stuff on it.
What is it?
I don't know. I don't read whatever that is. You know.
Probably orcish.
Oh,
No, it is more symbolic than a word. It is a humanoid skull pierced by 3 arrows.
How bizarre.
Has one of the arrows been removed?
No.
Huh.
Oh, that would have been cool.
That would have been cool.
that would have been cool. Wow. Okay. This rock is something.
Anyone who wishes can roll a nature check or a history check.
Yeah, I think I will.
No, you can't. You've had the stone for too long.
Oh,
I'm going to say
try.
you don't. If you
help.
haven't,
Someone help.
someone else has to help.
Someone help.
Because you would have known by now. You would have checked it.
He's only just seen the symbol.
What does it all mean?
Well, with my nature being a 0, I got a 9.
Okay.
I got a 15.
15. Anything for Wodun, or you didn't roll?
No, I'm not nearby.
Carnelian.
Spencer.
Is Spencer's roll? Roll for
He's
Spencer.
downstairs.
Roll for Spencer. He popped his head in. Saw it.
Fuck me.
Is this? Oh no!
A head,
baby!
a head appears in the side of the wall. It just goes, Bonzame. Drifts out.
Not now,
Talking
Spencer.
about.
You will
It's been spouting nonsense since you got here.
Carnelian, you recognize actually something to do with that little symbol on the other side. And just knowing what you know about... This is a history check you used, did you?
Yeah.
You identify what that is it's highly likely a symbol of the Orcs tribe. They can be quite literal, so you think the tribe might translate to many arrows or something similar to that, the many arrow tribe, or something similar. So it's definitely an indicator of the tribe of Orc that it was from.
Okay, so that might be like the symbol of his tribe, like a flag or like his heraldry.
I might be able to track it down. Thanks. Okay, well, I learned something today.
And so did I. You have an orc in your pocket.
How
Well,
cool.
Two left.
Two
Two
the same
porpoises.
orc 2 times.
Be weird if it was more than one orc.
I was going to take a moment to just look at it and think, huh,
Just remember the porpoise.
just remember the porpoise, and then put it away.
Okay.
remember the day.
Seeing
Write
that
that on your
Horatio's
head.
lost in...
Remember porpoise.
Remember porpoise.
Seeing that Horatio's lost in thought, I'll just stare at Otto and Dogcliff and just ponder how cute they are.
Oh, they are cute.
Jockey's behind them, so I can't see him.
The night has finally come. The sun, wherever it is in the sky, has drifted away, and it is now to actual darkness. The wind whipping around the lighthouse gives an eerie, sort of almost a shrill cry about it. And you think if it wasn't for the warmth of the brazier fire, it'd be kind of spooky to be here. Eventually, though, with the fire raging, you're able to get to sleep, Svieta, in the pile of cuddles that is all the animals.
Yeah.
Carnelian, where are you sleeping? On the table?
No, with Chucky.
Oh, with Shocking. Not
Join
a
the
separate
cuddle party.
Yeah, double cuddle. So that's the cuddle pile.
More bodies, more heat.
It's like a living nest.
Perfect.
Horatio, where are you
He
staying?
feels right at home in his little nest. I'll just put out my bedroll close enough to the fire that I'm warm.
Yep. And Wodun.
Yeah, I was actually going to say the same. I'd be probably on the floor, but near the fire to keep warm.
And the fire does fill this room pretty effectively. You feel warm. You feel, at least for now, safe.
I will say, I don't know, maybe a few hours pass. after the party go to sleep. And Horacio actually sort of wakes up feeling a bit cold in his bed despite being next to the fire. He opens his eyes and he sees Spencer standing like directly above him, like sort of almost hovering like face to face. And Spencer's mouth starts moving, but the sound doesn't come from there. He hears,
Cleric of Kalimvor, you think your god holds domain over the dead? He is weak. You are weak. Death is my domain, and I will take from it who I decide.
And then he sort of, as he's phasing out of existence, he actually casts Life Drain on you. So that is 10 points of necrotic damage.
Mm-hmm.
And you need to make a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
This is uncalled for.
17.
Alright, you're all good. And so Spencer now sort of just like, I guess like as a ghost would want to become invisible, he kind of just fades and he's no longer there. And I would say if you sort of like look around for, I don't know, any support or something like that, you see Wodun laying on his back and his eyes are like wide open and then they kind of just slowly close and you can tell he's pretty heavily asleep.
Okay. Is the spectre gone?
He's gone, yeah.
I was going to cast banishment on it. Can I do a quick check to see if I recognise what deity this thing might be representing?
Religion check, I think, would be the most appropriate thing.
13.
So with a 13, what you know is that it is obvious that to you that the spectre that came about was made from the spectre that you know, the whaling hunter that you killed. So that's why he's been spouting weird Australianisms the whole time.
Makes sense.
This voice and it being able to talk to you is completely unusual, though, for that spectre. So whatever it is, this entity, this thing, is obviously talking through it, but you can't get a handle on whether it's a god, a deity, some sort of like ultra powerful being, or anything else like that. You just know it's something other than the spectre that was raised that is talking to you.
Right, well, close my eyes for a moment, open them up again. I'll get up. I will hold my holy symbol around my neck. I'll walk over to Wodun and I'll stare at him really intently, and I'll start gripping the necklace, and you'll see energy start coming from the necklace, and my hand will be outstretched, and energy starts forming on the tip of my hand, but I start shaking, and I look angry, and then I stop, and then I just leave it. I won't banish him. And I'll...
Your favourite trick. The fuck out of here.
And then I'll sort of... I don't know. I think I'll stay up for a bit. Just look at the fire and...
So you're up, and you know the firelight is dancing behind you as you had this sort of moment over Wodun. And you turn around to look at the fire, turn away from Wodun, frustrated maybe. And you realise something as you turn to the fire. The world around you feels like it's been drained of its colour. You didn't really notice it before because you were so shocked by the spectre, and the light was giving you just sort of enough for you to see things, but as you turn to the firelight, the familiar orange glow is too blown out and white, and everything around near the fire, the pile of cuddles and everything is just all in this grayscale. And standing, looking at the fire, is a figure with its back turned to you, tall and somewhat slender, in a robe that reaches right down to the floor, or maybe a coat or a cape. It's hard to see from this side. You're getting this strange sensation when you look at it. Something in the pit of your stomach. And that instinct almost cries out to your ears. And you hear keenly say, "Tune in next week on Reflex Save!"
Motherfucker.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, this
So many meta-humans coming across.
He has been doling out the kisses.
You're clutching heads. It's weird.
I know.
Clutching heads.
Hey, was that not tender?
That wasn't to me.
That wasn't tender?
No, you didn't clutch my head.
Andy, was I tender with you?
He's very tender.
Stop.
He clutches my head all the time, Jen.
Stop it.